What's going down, Commanders? Hope everyone's doing well today. I wanted to go through the factions on the CC, basically, because I'm seeing a lot of players, especially over the last two events, not understanding what I'm trying to tell them with Be Survivors factions, especially for the events, and it just makes things a lot easier. So I'm going to read through some of these. Hopefully I'm going to grab all the details you need. This first one, Neutral, is the read up for this is wrong, because it's probably the best faction if you're going to live off the tactical backup bastion. And what that is this building here, which is your tactical backup bastion, and it will deploy units around the map periodically, so it takes time to charge, but they spawn around the map and help you fight in defense when you're being attacked. It's probably the best. Why I'm saying it's probably the best is because it spawns probably the better of the units we've got available, which is Spartans, war horses, jackals, and things like that. Don't spawn any heroes or any warlords, but these are probably the hardest to kill out the four factions that you can choose from. So this read up for it's wrong. For those less interested in war, remaining neutral ensures you do not inherit any factions enemies. However, you also gain the access to custom factions and centers and faction traits. But it probably is one of the better of the four, in my opinion, just purely for the fact is the tactical backup bastion. I'm not going to go to survivors next. I'm going to go to Sentinels, because the read ups on this isn't very clear, and every now and then these read ups go missing. And I've noticed today 2 of the 3 read ups are there, except for this one. So basically, the Sentinels makes you immune to any status effects. That's where it's cut off. Devotion Sentinels units are immune to it's any status effects. So that's cryo, corrosion, shock, and all that, all them. But you have to be fully Sentinels faction, or you have to have what do you call them? Neutral units, factionless units in your base to get the faction. It's got to be all the same suit with the factionless units. I will read off some of the factionless units in a little while once I get through this, so you get kind of an idea. Corpus is another one that's a strange one. It don't quite work in today's game. It's basically, let me read it off. Adaptive defense. Corpus units cannot take more than 15% of their maximum health in damage for any given projectile. So any one shot can only take up to 15% worth of damage. In today's game, the fire rate is too fast. So basically, it's 8 shots it works out to be to kill a Corpus unit. But you can probably do that with one Spartan or one, what do you call them? Ogre. So it just don't work properly in today's game. That's why I steer clear of it. Every now and then, both of these become valuable in an event. You just got to keep your eye out for that. But actually playing the game PvP, you want to pick one of these two, survivors or neutral. So that's in my opinion, guys. I'm only giving you my opinion here. You can have different opinions if you like. This is the one that I always choose, survivors. And the Warlust on survivors is just unbelievable. So the survivors Warlust units deal more damage. The more of the unit type of any type die. So basically, the read up's cut off for this. You gain up to 100% Warlust, and what that means, as that counts up, the units, the survivor units, you've got to have all survivor units in the attack or in your base, or it's got to be survivors factionless. The Warlust doesn't carry over to the factionless units, but it will carry over to the survivors units. But what happens is you get up to 100% Warlust, and that gives you up to 100% damage on times the damage. So whatever the damage is on units, let's pick one unit. What I use a lot in my base is where are they? These guys, Cosmortars. So the DPS on these is just under a mil. Per shot is 663,000. That doubles. That goes to 12, nearly 13, 1.3 million damage once that Warlust's up to max. And the thing is, I have got factionless units in my base, you will see. Land Loki, Sea Wizard. Even in my bunkers, I've got the new. This is where you got to do it all. You've got to change everything. I've got the cadets. They're factionless. They won't break the faction, but they won't gain the faction's traits. Even in Last Stand, These are factionless. Any of the Sector Breach legendaries, they're all factionless nowadays. None of them have got a faction. Some of the older legendaries have got a faction. I think off the top of my head, legendary devouts have got they will break the Warlust faction. They will break your faction in your base. So last stands, turrets break the faction as well. You've got two or three of each. Two. You've got 2 Corpus there, 2 survivors, and 2 Sentinel. These, if you put one of these in while trying to be a different faction, say for instance I put a sledge in and I'm trying to be Corpus, that will break my faction. Again, this one's got, I think I've got Spartans in the academy. All my spawning units are survivors. So if I show you spawners, Boomer over them obviously that one's Corpus, the Akuma's Corpus, the Cruciger's Sentinel, and Boomer's survivors. Same with this, the barracks. I haven't quite got the levels on the barracks yet, but war production, I will probably take the survivors one for now, while survivors is so strong, over the Corpus and Sentinels, and exactly the same for the airfield. Keep clicking the wrong buttons. I've taken the Firehawk over the Icarus or High Guard, which carries that keeps me fully survivors. You don't need to worry about the drone silos. They're not controllable units, so they don't count as a unit in your base. They're kind of like the last stand. When your buildings die, little ERMs, they count like that, and that's been proven. Again, this building, you want it level 2, tactical backup bastion, but again, the survivors, Corpus and Sentinel versions, units that come out are very, very weak. They're just a little bit of a distraction compared to the actual neutral CC. They're an actual stronger unit. They do help defend your base a lot better. I think I've gone through everything you should need to know. Oh, the other factionless units as well that you need to know about. Basically, all these are factionless. So you Spartans, Lightbringer, and all the other stuff you got in between, ogres. The only ones that are not, I don't think I've got any. These are not. Anything before from devouts backwards break your faction, but you shouldn't be using them anyway. You shouldn't need to. They're too weak nowadays. I think that's about all you should need to know. I always going into an event, I'm always using survivors, but I do keep that free one. Just in case Corpus or Sentinels is the way to go in an event, I can flick it over for free. That's a 7 days cooldown. You can change it over 5 days, but once you've done the free one takes 7 days to cool down. So be aware, it's not the same as the 5 days that you would have to do to change it over manually. But you can still change it over manually for 5 days, and then after 7 days you'll get that free one back. Hopefully I've explained everything moving forward, because everyone seems to think that my units were 100 times stronger than their units, and there is a reason why. Because of survivors' warlust, basically. It just makes things so much. Oh, the Gravedigger, Brother Devin, Nutcracker, Factionless guys, you can use them with your survivor units. They won't get the warlust, but they will not break your warlust for the rest of your survivors units, or Corpus units, or Sentinels units, whatever ones you're using. So be aware of that as well. You do get a 10%, I think it's a 10%. They don't explain that here. Let me just, I won't keep you much longer. But you do get another 10% damage dealt and damage reduction. It should be down here somewhere. Let's see if the Corpus one reads it out. I'm sure there's another 10% reduction with the faction as well, unless Kixeye's removed that. When they first come out, it definitely did have it, but it's not showing it now. I don't know if Kixeye's removed that or not, but as I say, the read up for these are all broken. Basically, they don't give you the full readout, so and that's why players don't understand what they actually do. And that's a shame. That's something Kixeye need to make sure that it's very clear to the players what they do and what buffs you get and what buffs are taken away. Right, I think that's it, guys. I'm going to leave you with it. Hopefully, I've explained it good enough. Other than that, take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.